Hey, citizens for McDonough. It's Montina here with the news you can use in 60 minutes or less. Y'all, I am excited about this because this is your space to stay informed, engaged, and connected to what's happening right here in our community. Each week, I'll be sharing updates on meetings, events, and opportunities for you to get involved because if you want to be in the know, you have to be in the room. And like I say, if you can't be in the room, you want to read the meeting notes. I decided to create this long form content, as it's called online, because I know for me, I am not necessarily a TikToker or shorts person. I like full content. And there's actually an individual that I watch on YouTube. They stream about 2 to 3 hours at a time. And guess what? I watch 2 to 3 hours at a time of their content and I really enjoy it. So I thought, you know what? I know if I enjoy their content, there are some of you where 60 seconds is just not enough time. And I rather do a segment for you all here. You can fast forward, rewind, take the content, chew the meat, spit out the bones, but it's a way for me to just share a little bit more of what's going on in our community. And so one of the things that I like to do is I'm very much the type of person that likes to follow kind of a template or a script. I like things to be in sync so that you know what to expect each week. So as I'm doing this, it will not be a 60-minute segment, but it will be 60 minutes or less. So there might be some weeks where it is 59 minutes and 59 seconds, and there'll be some times when it's way less than that. But for right now, this show really is for those of you that are in the city of McDonough, or if you are in Henry County. The information on my channel will encompass county as well as city. I'm not going to highlight Stockbridge, Locust Grove, Hampton, or unincorporated right now, but if you are interested in news that's going on in our county as a whole, this is it for you as well. Also, I created this because I moved to McDonough in 2021. If you don't know my backstory, I love sharing my backstory because it makes me so happy. So I was a divorcee and living my best life. I was pretty happy, and my daughter decided to put me on Match.com. When she put me on Match.com, my second serious match date within 2 weeks was like, "Would you get married again?" And I was like, "They'd been divorced. I was divorced," and I was like, "Okay." We did not get married in 2 weeks, but 1 year to our first date, my husband did propose. And that's why I'm here in McDonough. My husband is retired military veteran, Army, over 21 years. And this is my forever final place that I live now. This is my forever home. And I was like, okay, I actually had planned to move to Jacksonville, Florida. Actually, I found 25 acres in Callahan, so right outside of Jacksonville, where I was going to make that my forever home. I was going to live off the land, raise some pigs. I don't eat pork. Well, I didn't at that time, so I wasn't going to eat pigs, just raise the pigs. And yeah, so life changed. And since I'm here now, it was like, well, I want to know what's going on in this community because I'm new to this community. So I just started getting engaged. I joined my local chamber of commerce. I've owned a company for a long time. Then I got involved with city council meetings, commission meetings. Now, I'll tell you, I've never been to a city council meeting in my life. Commissioner meetings, I don't think I've ever been to a commissioner's meeting. And so when I started going to these meetings, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, some of the questions that were asked, and I'm not going to say what specific meetings, but I just was like, like, it didn't sit well with me. I was like, man, did they read, the information? Is there additional information? Then I realized about a year or two later that there's actually a packet. So I'm sitting in this, really the city council meetings, I'll say specifically. And it just seemed like some of the council members just weren't engaged or informed or really just did not show a connection to the community. Several times I actually went to meet with the mayor at the time when I first had moved here to McDonough and found that there was just a lot of talk going on, but there was just never anything that came into fruition. I just wanted to help. I'm like, hey, can I lead citizens, the Citizens Academy? Is there Citizens Academy? Well, we're not doing it right now. That was a paid position. Well, like, I'll do it for free. I own a company. This is what I like to do. I would love to get engaged. So nothing ever really came into fruition. It was always like, well, we'll see about this or that, you know. And then I just took it upon myself. So, well, I'll just run for office. And that's what I did. I got 43% of the vote. I ran for office in 2025. It was an outstanding experience. You don't lose, you learn. But I'll tell you, there's just a lot of dirty tricks that come along with politics. They call it politics. I learned that from the sheriff. And just lies from the incumbent. We live in a blue county, even though we have a red state with our governor, but it's a definitely blue county. And I'll tell you, I've been a registered Democrat my whole life. So I started going to the Republican meetings because I wanted to know more. Plus, I'm like, well, they vote and it's a nonpartisan position. So I'm like, the seat's nonpartisan. It made sense to me. Well, the incumbent took that upon herself and spread lies about me being a Republican, which I was like, this is crazy. So I had to go online and set the record straight. And it was just a mess. Okay. So 80 signs stolen. But I will tell you, I made the incumbent work. She actually is my HOA. Well, at the time was the HOA president. So it was an interesting experience. But you know what? I'm not afraid of being bold in my community, being an advocate in my community, and really standing up for what's right in my community. And as I'm doing here, continuing what I said I would do without a title, without the pay, too. I didn't realize at the time, many years ago when I started going to the council meetings that council members get paid. I didn't know. I thought it was all volunteer positions. So council members get paid, 13 of the 16 board members, or excuse me, boards, we have boards and authorities are paid here in our county. So again, once I started going down, I'd say going into the maze within politics, I love it. Okay. I like talking politics. Either side, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. I love you because I think that whatever you believe, just stand 10 toes down on it. And I will tell you, I went to a lot of Republican meetings. Their meetings were in order. I'll tell you, I learned a lot. All Republicans are not racist. Now, the ones that were after me on my campaign were, and I really had a problem with that. But I can tell you, I don't believe everything on the Democratic side. I don't believe everything on the Republican side. I think we all probably lean somewhere in the middle and a little bit to this side or that side, but I can stand boldly on what I believe. People will come all the time and say, "Well, what about the federal government?" I'm like, "What about your local government? Do you know who your council members are, your commissioners, your state representatives? Do you know your congressional representatives, your senators, not just US senators, your senators?" And then also I've learned after running for office that there's something to be said when there's a focus on passion and not policy. So I'm not impressed because people are passionate or loud. Like, do you understand policy? And also those in office, do you represent the people or do you represent your self-interest? And I've seen a lot of that. So this show will be really around the news you can use in 60 minutes or less. So that's kind of like my opening segment for what's really going on. And so that's who this show is for. If you're interested in what's going on in the community, and I'll tell you, if you're a senior veteran, my young people, who else, business owners, really, this is for you. And a new resident, you new to this community, and you're like, I need to get plugged in. I want to know where the resources are. This is really good for you. Just put me on in the background while you're cooking your dinner, or y'all while you're working, and just listen to me. You probably don't need to speed it up because I already talk fast. But again, this is information that you can definitely use. And especially my husband's a veteran. You probably see his shadow box right there. And he's pretty amazing. I'm going to do a community hero segment. He's going to be my first guest. I can't wait for you all to hear from Mr. Frazier. That's my honey right there. And so then once I do the welcome, we're going to be talking about what's happening in the community from our meeting set standpoint, community highlights, community spotlight when we have those. And then we'll have a fun segment that we'll do. We'll run this just like a show, y'all. I can't tell I've done this before. I've done this before. Then we're going to have some segments, and then I'll give you kind of my moments of what's going on, call to action. And that is it. We are out of here. I may actually start doing this live stream on like YouTube, or excuse me, it's on YouTube right now, but I might do it on Facebook. And I might actually run it through a software like Zoom so that you all can actually come on live and talk with me. You can actually come on live on YouTube as well. So we're gonna be having a lot of fun as we do this. And even from time to time, you're gonna hear one of my little fun favorite friends in the background, Frida. Come here, Frida. I'm gonna show you Frida. Frida the Frenchie. So she's sometimes in my videos. This is Frida. This is my girl right here. So that's Frida the Frenchie. She's gonna be, you'll hear her. She's over there chewing on her chew toy, having some fun. And then you'll also hear Mr. Frazier in the background. My honey is always doing something around the house. He's pretty busy all the time. So I appreciate that. I have the best husband in the world, y'all. I am so blessed. So those are just some of the things that we'll be talking about again that are going on in the community. So right now, let me tell you what's on the calendar as we have for this week. I've already done the news you can use in 60 seconds or less on TikTok, and I post those on TikTok, Nextdoor, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and sometimes I have time to send out the newsletter. But on Monday, April 13th, the Board of Assessors meeting, Tuesday, April 14th, Henry County Soil and Water Conservation District meeting. Now, that meeting actually has a virtual option. There's also the Board of Commissioners called Budget Workshop, the McDonough Planning Commission, Wednesday, April 15th, there's nothing on the calendar. April 16th, that Thursday, Henry County Convention of Visitors Bureau Board meeting. And then Friday is the Board of Elections Board meeting. I actually am the chairwoman for the Henry County Conventions Visitor Bureau. And I'll tell you, so you'll see me with these just folders that I keep everything in, these binders. And my first meeting, let's see here, I actually have it right here. Was September 2023. So I've been going to these for a long time, and I'm now the chair of my second year. And you learn so much. We did $516.4 million in 2025, which is visitor spending that we could actually track. So there's a annual report that's at the meeting. So if you want that, you can visit the website and get some information. But those are the meetings that are on the calendar for this week. For those of you that are wondering about the budget, we have the Board of Commissioners budget workshop this week on the calendar. And then also, I'm going to mention T-Splosh. So I am the one of the T-Splosh ambassadors. So I've been sharing the "It's a penny" all over. It really is a penny. And I'll get people, actually, someone said, well, why can't you pay the penny? Yeah, great. I can pay the penny for everybody in the county. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But T-Splosh is Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. And it's really important. Let me grab my phone here to read some things, because if you're a newer resident, you'll find that just some people that have been here for a long time, they're very they can be snarky. So they'll say things and you're just kind of like, it doesn't even make sense. Or why wouldn't it make sense for us to have this transportation special purpose local option sales tax? But if you've been here your whole life, I can understand where you're like, well, we just keep paying more taxes. We keep paying more taxes. We keep paying more taxes, because it's just like me. My first wage was $4.25. And so now, minimum wage is a lot higher than, well, not really a lot higher, but you get the point. So I can understand where maybe your taxes were, let's say $100 a year, and maybe now they're 2,000 a year or something like that for property taxes. Or you go and purchase something, and you're like, well, bread used to be a quarter, a loaf, and it's $4 a loaf. Yes, things change in life, but it's a 1% sales tax, just 1 penny for every dollar spent. It's a continuation of the current penny, not an additional tax. So it's not an additional tax. We are already paying this 1% sales tax. It's not an additional tax. And remember that visitor spend I told you about? Well, every single visitor that comes to our county also pays that tax. I go to Florida once a month to watch my grandbaby, spend time with my daughter and my son-in-law. I pay a tax because we go out and spend. We buy food. I buy groceries every time I'm there. Same thing. We go to the zoo. So when I'm visiting my daughter in Texas, I visited my son in Texas. We went places, ate, spent money. So the visitors that come through our county are also spending money. And the funds are used for road improvements, intersections, sidewalks, traffic flow. So we've seen projects, McDonough Parkway Extension, the Jonesboro Road improvements, and Bill Gardner Parkway widening. And there's also engagement sessions. So you can find out more. And remember, it's a penny. Okay. So it's just really important, especially for newer residents, that we don't really get caught up on what's going on with those that have been here a long time. Will tend to complain a lot. And again, I'm from Steubenville, Ohio. I imagine that if I've grown up there my whole life, I'd have some things to complain about as well. My grandmother will be 89 years old at the time of this video this year, and she still lives in Steubenville, Ohio. So I get it. I understand. But for my newer residents that have come to this amazing county, we want to be part of what's positive in this county. Even if we have some challenges, go and participate in the leadership sessions that are free. The Citizens Academy is free. There are the Leadership Academy. Leadership Henry is at a cost. But I'll tell you, everything that you'll learn in Leadership Henry, you'll actually learn through the free Citizens Academy, except you just won't have the leadership segment. That's the only thing. You won't go to the camp. That's the only thing really that's missing. And I'll say I probably gained more from the free Citizens Academy in terms of um, the knowledge and information and more time with county officials than I did at the Leadership Henry. So again, choose what's best for you, but there's a lot of information out here to learn. Also, newer residents, I did a video on this, and I think I'll highlight some of the videos I posted on TikTok. It's McDonough. So if you come here, I would say McDonough. They're like, no, that's not how you pronounce it. And people get really upset, the natives here. It's McDonough. So that's why you hear me kind of saying it. And then I might go back again and say, oh, it's McDonough. It's not McDonough. Okay. All right. So that's what's coming up. It does matter that you're in the room. One of the things that I have mentioned that if you want to be in the know, you have to be in the room. And if you can't be in the room, read the meeting notes. And I'll talk later. My Mondays have been pretty much booked for the last 6 to 8 weeks. And I'll tell you that in my Montina's Moment segment, but I can't make it to the city council meetings for McDonough. So I have to read the meeting notes. And I'll tell you, I've actually saved a lot of time doing that, but I do keep a lot of agendas here. This is full. I have another one. I keep my tourist agendas in another binder, but I just recommend that you get a binder and just take it with you because I like to take all of my notes and put them on that agenda. You will get an agenda in in the committee meeting, commissioner meetings, council meetings. I'm trying to think if there might be any meetings I've attended that I haven't received an agenda, and I can't think of any at the top of my head, off the top of my head. So I put the agendas in these binders. Okay. And if you go in, you don't get an agenda, ask for an agenda. There's times when they have to pause. Like I walk in and say, hey, I need an agenda. One of the committee members, board members will give me their agenda and the secretary will go get them another agenda. I'm from the public. I want an agenda. Okay. And that's just how I operate. Don't be, intimidated or afraid. You are there representing the public. Even I mean, we're citizens, right? So you have a right to the agenda and information. They may have executive sessions and you will not be able to stay in the room when they have the executive sessions. Some of the things I also want to highlight, okay, as we go through here is the Henry Herald. Y'all, this is my favorite. Okay. And my husband laughs now. It's a little bit thick. That's like two of these. Okay. But it's worth it. You can look at the digital edition. I think we are blessed to have a community paper. But like I always read the headlines. These headlines are Stockbridge to hold swearing in for new police chief. Tis the season for a You Pick Sweet Treat. I can't wait to take my grandchildren here to pick some strawberries. Henry County residents share input on T-Splost. So if you want to provide more feedback, you can go to henrytsplost.com. And then I like to actually go in and look at the community calendar. And then there's also a highlight here. There's a lot of highlights in this weekend edition. McDonough makes reporting non-emergency issues simple. So of course we have See Click Fix, but that's not new. That's actually not new at all. So maybe they're touting it as something new. Hampton is getting federal money for stormwater infrastructure. So the city of Hampton is receiving $954,000 to upgrade stormwater infrastructure to recent bipartisan legislation from Senator Ossoff, our U.S. Senator Ossoff. On the community calendar, we have Goat Yoga, April 11th, which passed, but we have the April, May, June, July. $40 a person, so you can have yoga with the goats. That's kind of cool. I don't think I want to pay $40 to do it, but I think it's still great because it's very relaxing. You can learn about vegetable gardening at the Henry County Extension as part of its monthly Lunch and Learn series. Jazz Under the Stars, that's going to be April 18th in Fairview Road, Ellenwood. There's a plant sale going on. Locust Grove Day, April 18th, it's going to be a parade starting at 10 a.m. with a festival at 2 p.m. on the City Hall front lawn. Homeschool Fishing, April 21st. SpongeBob the movie is going to be presented for free Saturday, April 25th in Locust Grove. Dog Man Movie Night in the Park on Saturday, May 9th, and that's going to be Gary Barham Park. Swing for a Cause, a golf tournament benefiting Henry County Special Olympics, May 11th. Geranium Sale, Henry County 4-H, and that's going to be Saturday, May 16th. But it's and you can purchase them in advance. Summer music camp. Oh, let's see summer music camp. June 1st to 17th on weekdays from 9 to 2. It's $125 per week, and they have a summer art camp. Henry County Parks and Recs hosting a summer art camp June 1st through the 5th, and there is a $155 per child investment or fee. And if you have something that you'd like to include on the community calendar, you can reach out to the Henry Herald. They usually have the person. Oh, they usually have where you can do that here. I don't see it, but you can go to henryherald.com, I'm sure, and find that. What else is here? Let's see here. There's a new physicians network, state court judge, hosts youth from the Boys and Girls Club. So again, I like to just come in. Oh, I recognize some people from my Chamber of Commerce. That's the Southern Crescent Physicians Network inaugural networking event. That's great. Future Physicians Pipeline, Honeybee Pediatrics, and Swing for a Cause. Again, the golf tournament for our Special Olympics. So these are just some interesting things from our Henry Herald. I did a video also on TikTok. Let me see if I can find my news you can use. There is a summer festival that is going to be coming to Henry County, a McDonough Film Festival, June 5th and 6th. So I think those are some local things. And again, if you have something locally that you'd like for me to include in these weekly segments, just visit my website, Montina for McDonough, excuse me, McDonough.com, Montina for McDonough.com, online and through the contact us, or shoot me an email, Montina at montinaformcdonough.com. And then in the subject line, community update. Okay. So don't just like leave it blank. That's fantastic. And then I am going to be doing a community spotlight segment. So many years ago, about back in maybe 2018 or 17, I actually had an FM radio show. And I had created a segment talking about our community heroes, and it was like news, featuring community heroes. And it's something that I've decided I am going to start up again here in McDonough. And it's a segment. Let me go to my notes here. It's going to be for those of you that are community heroes, our seniors, those have done some amazing things in our community, unsung heroes, heroes that we've celebrated. I want to hear from you and I want to interview you. I want to know about you, especially our seniors. Sometimes I feel like I'll hear people say, we forget about our seniors. I don't. I love our seniors. My grandson's grandma and I are pretty close. My grandmother will be 89 this year, and she and I get to talk from time to time. But I'm trying to bring up here. You can actually go to my website and we have it listed there to nominate a community hero, or you can apply to be on the show. Like I said, we're going to make this super fun and have this as a segment where you can listen live. Let me see here where you can apply to be on our community hero. And I meet so many amazing people from here that are new to here. And I just want to honor you if you give me an opportunity. So let me see if I can find it here. Oh, my first guess. Let's see here. And I'm going to ask my husband. He knows I'm always doing something. And I said, hey, I want you to be a guest on my new show I'm creating. He's like, okay. What do y'all mean, Mr. Fraser? He's amazing. But anyone that you know that's making a positive impact in McDonough, I'd love to hear their story. And it really is the community spotlight segment. So it's an opportunity for you as a resident, business owner, volunteer, veteran, senior, nonprofit leader, everyday community champions who are doing meaningful work in McDonough and the surrounding area. So I'll have everything listed on my website. You can apply to literally come and be featured on the show and have all the information there. Okay. All right. So I think that's all I really wanted to share from my notes to make this a little bit longer. And oh, no, it's not. So let's talk about the primaries and the general election that's going to be coming up here in 2026. So if you have not already, go to mvp.sos.ga.gov. And I have this on TikTok. I'll probably do a shorter segment. I'm going to bring up my sample ballot again. So it timed me out on the page. And what I want to tell you is that we are looking right now in the primaries. You are going to be voting for a Democratic or Republican candidate. If you choose to have an independent ballot, you are not going to see anyone on the Republican or Democratic ticket. So for instance, in the congressional district that I'm in, 10, We have Mike Collins, who is now running for Senate. So I've seen Houston Gaines that is running for District 10 on the Republican ticket. And then there are a number, maybe 3 or 4 running on the Democratic ticket. So what that means is Mike Collins is running for US Senate. But on the Republican side, there are several on the Republican ticket running for Senate. Buddy Carter, so I know a few of them. And that means that if I picked a Republican ticket, I would be choosing Buddy Carter, Mike Collins, whomever's on that Republican ticket. That's why we're going to look at it. They would then be on the general ballot for November. So we have one on the Democratic ticket, one on the Republican ticket. So it is extremely important when you're thinking about this primary election to choose your ballot. So again, Republican ballot, Democratic ballot, independent, you're going to get a nonpartisan ballot, but you're only going to see the judges. You're only going to see school board because that's the only nonpartisan seat. Those are the only nonpartisan seats on the ballot. So I'm actually going to review this. So we're going to, you know what? Let me do this. Let me pull this up from my phone. My iPad is charging, so we can really look at what this means. And this is especially important because you want to look at your ballots and you want to see some of, one thing I've learned is even if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, again, unless a lot of Republicans I do know vote down ballot, but a lot of Democrats don't. And again, if you're independent, they're both parties are trying to sway you on their side, right? So let's pull up and just look at the ballots here. I'll read it off since we can't actually view it from my phone. I will be doing some updated videos. Check out my TikTok, and then I'll share those everywhere. When I say TikTok, I share it everywhere. So if you don't have TikTok, I share it on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook next door. So don't worry about it. So when we're viewing the sample ballot, I'm going to pick, they're literally in the order. So you can pick, you can see, let's see if you can, well, I don't think it's not kind of tuned in, but when you pull it up, it has Democratic, Republican, Independent. So that's how we'll look at it. So for May 19th general primary, go vote early. For the Democratic ballot, I'm reading off what's on the Dem. Now remember, you might not be in my district. Okay, so I can only read some off my district. Okay, I'm not gonna read it all, but you're gonna see the US Senate, you're gonna see an option for the governor. But remember, if you choose a Democratic ballot, you will only see the Democratic nominees. You will not see the Republican nominees. You will see all nominees in the November election. Okay. Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, Attorney General, Commissioner of Agriculture, Commissioner of Insurance, State School Superintendent, Commissioner of Labor, Public Service Commissioner for District 3 and District 5. That's me. And then District 10 State Senate, District 17 State Senate, State House of Representatives, County Commissioner. The Democratic Party ballot for the primary also have questions. The questions, let me see how many. Okay, I see 2 questions. One says, should the state of Georgia raise the sales tax on everyday items like clothing, food, and school supplies to pay for an income tax cut that would make millionaires and billionaires richer? Number 2 is it ethical for political candidates who have used their public offices to enrich themselves and their families or have had nearly $1 billion of business dealings with the state of Georgia to hold statewide office? Nonpartisan, again, general election, that would be just the Supreme Court of Georgia, Supreme Court of Georgia, Judge Court of Appeals of Georgia, Judge Court of Appeals, Court of Appeals, Court of Appeals, Court of Appeals, Superior Court, Flint. I'm in the Flint Judicial Circuit. Okay, so those are ones you'll see. And then there's a special election, Henry County School. This is again for me here in Henry County School District approval bonds and 1%. And this is for East Blast. Okay, shall $425 million in aggregate principal amount of Henry County School District general obligation bonds, the bonds, be authorized to be issued for the purposes of providing funds to pay a portion of the cost of the following capital outlay projects of the Henry County School District. I'm not going to read all of this because it's a lot. And you're going to answer yes or no. So basically, you're voting on E-SPLOST. E-SPLOST. All right, so that's sample ballot, again, the Democratic ballot. Let's look at the Republican sample ballot. Okay, so I already told you you're voting for Senate, and I was telling you Republican side, you have one, two, three, four, five Republicans running for Senate. You have three, six, seven, eight running for governor. So you'll see all of those again. What I am going to do is go down and read. They have questions on the ballot, state Republican Party questions. Should Georgia enact the strongest election integrity measures possible, which may include hand-marked paper ballots, fines for counties that refuse to maintain current voter rolls, and restrictions on no excuse absentee voting to restore trust in elections? Number two, should Georgia prohibit judges from releasing criminal defendants accused of murder and other felonies without posting secure bail? Number three, should Georgia extend the death penalty to include sexual crimes against children? Number four, should the United States Constitution be amended to limit the number of Supreme Court justices to a maximum of 9 to prevent a partisan court packing schemes? Number five, should Georgia require public school systems to make all instructional materials and library content publicly accessible online for parental review? Number six, do you support making Georgia energy independent by prioritizing American oil gas production, reducing regulations, and delivering lower energy costs for families? Number seven, do you support banning cell phone use in Georgia public schools to improve student focus, safety, and discipline? Number eight, should Georgia enact laws punishing state and local law enforcement who refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities in the deportation of illegal aliens charged with serious crimes? That's the statewide Republican Party questions. County Republican Party questions. Number nine, should Henry County temporarily pause high density developments until roads, schools, and public safety services are adequately expanded to support additional growth? Number 10, should Henry County prioritize investment in major road improvements and traffic flow projects before improving major developments? Nonpartisan general, and that's it. Okay. And then remember, I said if you'll have Democratic, then you'll have your Republican, or you will have independent, or excuse me, it'll say nonpartisan sample ballot. Nonpartisan sample ballots don't have any questions. You just have the judicial and let's see here, special election East lost on this one. Okay. So you only have judicial and you have the special election on this one. And I thought on this one, I could be wrong though, but I thought we were going to see our school county officials, but I don't see it on this sample ballot. Okay. All right. So maybe they'll be in November as well. So I really wanted to go through that to reiterate primary, it's a selection for the Democrat or Republican nominee to then move forward to the November election. So it's a 1-to-1. Okay. So hopefully this helps you some. I just really thought it was important because I've always voted, but I've never been involved in politics, y'all. But now that I am, I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I really do. And I'm interested in local politics. The federal level of been to the White House, invited under both administrations, Biden, Harris, and also Trump administration. I do a lot of advocacy work for small businesses at the federal level. Not a lot at the local level, some at the federal level. I sit on a leadership board, so I'll be there soon advocating for small businesses, but I don't do work in the federal space anymore. So I did want to highlight the primaries and general elections. Please get out to vote. I will tell you, when I ran for office, one of the most intimidating things is really just going up to y'all and saying, "Hi, my name is Montina Young Frazier. Get your name and do you live in the city of McDonough? You live in city limits?" And so many of you all did not even realize that you lived outside of the city limits of McDonough. We had a historical turnout for the elections, this in our November 2025 elections. And so many of you would come to me and say, "I voted for you," or "I went to vote for you, but your name was on my ballot." You got to know if you live in the city limits. And I do have that on my site, montina4macdonald.com. And there's a button there at the top that says, "Do you live in the city limits of," well, it says, "Do you live in McDonough?" Click it and figure out if you do. Because even if you don't, it's okay. But please get out to vote. We should be paying attention to what's going on locally. Don't take things just as the opinions of the people here. Attend the meetings. Even if you pick a lane, come to one of my meetings where I talk Citizens for McDonough. I do Business Owner's Guide to Local Government. There are 16 boards in this county. If you are not paying attention to what's going on, it's really just I don't want to say it's your fault. You don't have to attend, but you can read the meeting notes. So pick a lane. My lane is business. I'm sitting in business development meetings. Your lane might be youth, our children, mental health, hospitals, soil and conservation. So there are a lot of opportunities, and that's one meeting a month. So 12 meetings a year. Tell me you don't have time for 12 meetings a year. Okay, 12. 12. You have 365 days, y'all. I'm counting all the days. 12. And here's another thing. When I spoke at the churches, which I was very disappointed. Tabernacle of Praise. I go to Tabernacle of Praise. I also go to Momentum here in McDonough. And I'll tell you, Bishop McBride, thank you so much for supporting, not supporting, I'm going to say that, supporting the process, the political process of just keeping the community informed and engaged and connected, allowing candidates, all candidates, to at least go and say, hi, this is who I am. You get 60 seconds to just say who you are, what you're running for, and that's it. So they're not doing anything from a political standpoint, but he's not shying away, and I say he because he's the leader of that church, the bishop, not shying away from at least saying, hey, we're a church that we're concerned about your souls. So we're concerned about y'all votes too. We want you to vote. And this is the community. He even I said when I've heard him pray outside of the church at different events, when the righteous are in office, then the city is restored. Y'all, listen, this is biblical. We have more people going to church on Sunday than voting. That is ridiculous. So I just want to just encourage those of you that are in leadership positions, my business owners, who are my friends as well, and pastors, please. Candidates aren't asking you to come and share their platform, but at least get your congregation out and let them know how important it is for them to vote. It is very important in our community. Okay, so I'll get off my high horse on that one right there. All right, so our first community spotlight is going to be Mr. Frazier, who I will get to introduce to all of you. If you have any questions or topics that you'd like me to cover or something happening in the community we should all know about, you can connect with me. I said through my website. And I also, let me see, looking at my notes here, I wanted to share a little bit about myself towards the end. I kind of have this Montina's moments. Let me see where I've been, what I've done. Oh, this past month, I also did go to the state of Henry, talked about that. If you're not following me on LinkedIn and you're a business owner, professional, go to my LinkedIn, just search Montina, Young Frazier, Montina. There's only, probably 10 Montinas in the whole world. And I'm one of them. I'm the third in my family. My daughter's the fourth. So you'll find me there. And then also, I did mention your civic tip of the week, which is to get engaged. Pick one of the 16 boards. You don't know how to find the boards. I do share those on my website. But again, as we continue these segments, I will start walking through the different boards that are where there's an opportunity for you to serve. And then where's my Montina moment that I'm going to share this week? Let me see here with my notes. I know something that I want to share with you all is I put here for myself and a reminder just to share some things that I'm listening to or time, small reflections. And so I really want to talk about two things. One is a book that I'm reading called The Hidden Lives of Trees or Hidden Life of Trees. My phone, just to make sure I get it right. It is so interesting. My husband and I were traveling and I was like, oh, I get to drive because when I get to drive, person that drives gets to control what's on the radio, basically. So I was like, I get to listen to my book. He fell asleep. But it's The Hidden Life of Trees. It is so interesting. It's what they feel, how they communicate. It is just an amazing book so far, listening to it on Audible. So if you like to read, I highly recommend it. Listen to it on Audible. I love to read. Another thing that I'd like to share with you all is I'm actually learning American Sign Language. So I go to sign language classes. Remember, I said I don't attend the McDonough City Council meetings on Mondays because I've been going to sign language. So after I ran for office, it's a lot. And I will say I was quite, of course I can't say I wasn't disappointed. I didn't win. You run because you want to win, but you don't lose, you learn. And I learned a lot. And I decided, hey, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from this. I'm still showing up in the community, but I want to do something different. And I have a family member where I wanted to learn how to communicate more effectively because right now they are nonverbal. And I said, I'm going to take American Sign Language. I've fallen in love with the language, y'all. And it's at Clayton State University on Mondays, and there's advanced classes. I'm excited. I'm conversational. Then I downloaded an app where I take additional classes. I know over 360 signs. So if you have people in our community that are deaf, I would love to meet you. So, of course, I would love putting here because I want to cover the mic. Love to meet you. So yeah, so that's something that I'm doing, and I absolutely love it. All right, so that's it, y'all. So, like I said, the news you can use in 60 minutes or less. If you want something that's a little longer than what I've had on TikTok, come join me here on YouTube. And I think that's it. So, like I said, if you have questions, topics you like covered, or something happening in the community, submit questions, call, or text right through my website, montinaformcdonagh.com. And if you're a community leader, business owner, volunteer, someone doing great work, you are invited to join the show. Again, visit Montina Forum McDonough to nominate a community hero or apply to be on the show. All right, y'all, let's keep building a better McDonough and Henry County together.